I'm Janae Frainer with the NRL22. I'm here today because Zeiss has become our official optic sponsor for the 2025 season. They have graciously sent us a few products so that we can test them out, maybe do some reviews on them, do a few videos. Today, I'm going to start by mounting a scope, and I'm going to teach you how to mount a scope. The scope I have right here is their LRP S5. High quality, very high end. I'm looking forward to this. And we're going to be mounting it with their precision rings, which I did not know until they sent them to me that they even made precision rings. So I'm pretty excited about this. Let's get started. Okay, so step one of working on any firearm is you want to make sure that it's safe and unloaded. So I'm just going to remove the bolt so that there's no way it can fire. So I already separated the ring halves from each other, and then I placed them on the furthest most spots on the Picatinny rail that I'm comfortable with. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to push this forward so the recoil lug goes forward towards the scope, and I'm just going to hand tighten each of the screws. So now I'm going to place the scope in the rings. I'm going to put the top half on, and I'm just going to finger tighten them as well. Now there is an anti-cant device in the ring that's built into it. Per Zeiss, they want you to run it on the rear ring. I've always ran mine on the front ring, so we're just going to, I don't know, we're gonna give it a whirl and see how it works. So I've hand tightened the screws, and I left just enough wiggle room that I can kind of rotate the scope, move it back and forth if I need to without scratching it. I want to take a moment to say that if you look at the profile here of my barrel with the scope, these rings are 1.125 inches high. They are their medium 34 millimeter rings. Okay, so now we are going to find perfect eye relief. The way we do this, first of all, you want to start on max magnification because that's the hardest. It's the hardest to see through your scope, but it's a magnification, so I just did that. You're going to lay behind your rifle, and what you're looking for is you want perfect eye relief. You want to be able to see everything. I want to be able to move my head back and forth slightly and still have it, and this is not working for me. So I think I need to move it a little bit forward. You want to be able to slide it forward or backwards till you get perfect eye relief. If you're seeing tunneling, that means it's either too close or it's too far. If you're seeing black at the bottom or at the top, that's a gun issue, and you probably need to either raise your cheek rest or lower it. So now I'm going to take a pencil and I'm going to very lightly mark on the scope itself where I have found perfect eye relief for myself. So I went ahead and removed the top half of the rings and the scope, and now I'm going to torque the bottom half of the rings to the Picatinny rail. Zeiss recommends 35 to 40 inch-pounds. I'm going to go ahead and do 40, so I set my torque wrench to 40, and now I'm going to tighten them. Now that the bottoms are torqued in, we're going to put the tops on. What I did already is I made these ones finger tight. Per Zeiss's specifications and how they want to mount, you want to have equal space on both sides of the gap between the top and the bottom half of the rings. So I've already done that on the front one. You want to be able to rotate the scope and I made sure I put it where I had my pencil marks. So you want to make sure it's right where you want it that way, but you still want it to be loose enough that you can rotate the scope so we can level it. Okay, this is where I'm going to go off Zeiss's recommendations. They say that you should use a plumb bob, which is a fantastic way to go, but I have found over the years that this is like a cheat code. Pro tip, makes it much easier. This is a mechanics feelers gauge. It has these little flat pieces, different sizes. What I do, so the bottom of the pick rail the top of the pick rail rather, is obviously flat. The bottom of the scope is obviously flat. We're trying to level them together. So what you do is you put these in here, and you put as many in until, I think that's the right number, until you cannot rotate the scope at all. It takes up all the space, thus making it level. This is really a cheap solution. This is like $5 at any kind of a Home Depot or whatever. You can get it any mechanic stock place too. But I discovered this spur mount thing, not mount, Spur makes this. I got it at Short Action Precision, and it goes right, it's built just for doing this, and it goes right into the pick rail. And then it has, make sure I'm putting it in the right way, it has this little wedge piece that you put in, and it does the exact same thing. You push it in until it's taken up all the space, and now I can't move my scope either way. So now I know it's level. Now that our scope is level, we need to torque down the top rings. Zeiss recommends 18 to 20 inch pounds. We are going to go 20, and you're going to do kind of a crisscross pattern. So as you tighten this, you want to maintain, like, first off, you want to make sure that there's the same size gap on each side of the rings, but you're going to tighten a quarter turn here, a quarter turn here, a quarter turn here, a quarter turn here, until everything is tightened. Okay, so I'm very particular and crazy about wanting my scope to be level with my anti-cant device. I was very nervous about this being built into the ring because obviously, like if it's independent, I can move it where it needs to go. But I have a way of checking this. So I have an iPhone and I have a level app on here, so it's electronic level. Doesn't matter what this number is. I just want the top of the flat part of the rings and the flat part of the top of my scope to be the same. So, oh, look at that. It happens to be 0. So let's put it down here and see if that is. Whoop! Yep, there we go. So I want to demonstrate why having an anti-cant device and why leveling your scope is so important. Here's my little target. I'm using a generic reticle. This is not a Zeiss reticle. So this target, we need 6 mils of elevation to hit this target. So I'm going to dial up, and it's going to be right there in the center of my crosshairs. So if I'm not level, I'm looking at it like, of course, I'm still going to hit it. Now let's do a holdover. I'm holding over 6 mils of elevation. I am not level. When you're not level, all of a sudden you're going to completely miss the target. You're essentially dialing wind in without dialing wind in because you're not level. Thanks for watching the video. Janae Frainer again here with NRL22. We are super excited about our official optics sponsor, which is Zeiss. I think we're going to do great things with them. We were happy to make these videos. It was pretty fun to do this, and I thought it'd be fun to do stuff like teaching how to mount a scope for someone who's never done anything like that. So give us comments, email us at info@nrl22.com to let us know how we're doing and what you guys think, and I'll see you out on the range.